You're struggling to hit a high note or maintain a hold, and you're blaming your range or your breath capacity, but it might actually be a sneaky H that's tripping you up. Stick around, I'll explain. Hi, I'm voice lady Lizzy Rushby. I'm a singer and vocal coach. I coach face-to-face, online via Zoom, and now here on YouTube. I post content every week on YouTube and I post daily on Facebook. So please like, subscribe, follow and support this little channel, and let's make our vocal dreams come true. Sneaky H's, what on earth am I on about? You're in the midst of a song and you're just struggling to hit that high note. Well, have you had a good look at the text and analysed the onset? An onset is just how you start the sound. There's different ways that you can start the sound, and people will use different terminology in relation to the sound, but I think there's pretty common agreement on what's called an aspirated onset. What this means is that you are losing air before the sound kicks in. Now, this happens naturally on consonants like a H consonant. If you say a H, there's a puff of air that is naturally released just before the sound kicks in. Here. Here. If you do it slowly, you'll feel that there's a release of air before the actual sound. Now, what can happen in a song is the aspiration becomes exaggerated. So quite a lot of air is released unnecessarily before the sound kicks in. What we can do is bring attention to the text, realise that those aspirated onsets are there, and do what we can to reduce the aspiration. So on something like a H, you may never eliminate totally the aspiration, and that's not the goal, but we can reduce that aspiration. I'm a big fan of printing your lyrics out on paper, because then you can make notes on the text and have those notes as reminders. And also, I think pen to paper, you can just analyse your text better, and you should do as a singer. I think you should do. So I've got all of me here, and there's some H's that could trip a singer up. The one on the climb, my head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. So you could end up really pushing that H and losing your air. And if you're doing that in a really high key, you might be blaming your range or your breath capacity, when actually we can reduce that H. My head. Can you hear all that air being released? So what we have to do is break the text down and see if we can sing the H in a less aspirated way. So instead of my head's under, can we my head? This is what I do when I'm rehearsing. I sort of pretend I'm trying to keep the air back. So everyone should have their own weird and wonderful system, okay? My head, this is me attempting to keep my air back, as my hand is just a reminder to myself. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. So I recommend to my singers, if they're struggling to hit a high note or they're struggling to maintain a hold, is to go and highlight the H's. And it's surprising, because on a climb, in some songs, you've perhaps got two H's, and then at the end, you're not hitting the high note and you're blaming your range, and it's not the range at all. The number of times that I've seen singers bring attention to their aspirated onsets, reduce the aspiration, and then go on to hit that high note or have that ending hold with no problem whatsoever. Anyway, that's just a very quick tip. I hope it's helpful to you. Print out your lyrics, analyse where the H's are. If you're struggling to hit a high note or you're struggling to maintain a hold, there may be a very breathy H, and you can reduce the breathiness on that H, hold on to your air, and then you'll have air left for your high note or for your hold. So analyse your text, highlight the H's, see if you can reduce the aspiration. Or another way of thinking of it is you're just not pushing that H as much as you would have done. My head's underwater. You're making it a cleaner sound. My My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. If that was helpful for you, please like and subscribe, and also comment in the comments as to what questions you have about singing. I would love to address some of those questions for you. I'm Lizzy Rushby. Let's make our vocal dreams come true. We'll sing soon.